Fourth Estate is the program where we look at issues in society from the perspective of the media. And today, there are so many issues as usual in the polity, from the signing into law of the new minimum wage bill to the illegal mining that is going on in parts of the country and that has provided tonic for banditry. We also have the issue of northern elders who are saying, President Muhammadu Buhari, you have not done enough. You need to do more in terms of tackling insecurity. We have the issue of fuel subsidy. The IMF is saying it must go. The government is saying, okay, it may go, but we are yet to get the formula with which to remove the subsidy. Equally, we have the issue of the former, now retired CJN Walter Onohe, and that has been convicted and sacked by the CCT. Equally, the issue of the presidential election is still in the front burner. Atiku Abubakar, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, is still battling to secure what he called his mandate. But President Muhammadu Buhari is not allowing it to lie low. He's saying, oh boy, I'm superior to you. I'll defeat you anytime, any day. I'm not alone on this program. Just come along with us. It's going to be very interesting. You are welcome. To discuss these issues with me, I have the privilege of welcoming to the studio Dr. Reuben Abati. He's wearing three caps here, that of a journalist, a politician, and a scholar. He participated in the last general elections as the deputy governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in Ogun State. Dr. Abati, you are most welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We also have Muyiwa Akintunde, former editor at the Post Express, Africa Today, Newswatch, to mention a few. He is now a PR consultant and opinion writer. Muyiwa, you are welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Abati, let me start with you. The new minimum wage. Thankfully, it has been signed into law. How visible is the implementation of that particular act?
Well, I think it must come as a big relief to Nigerians, the average Nigerian worker, and all the stakeholders involved, particularly organized labor, who have been insisting that in the light of double-digit inflation and the prevailing economic conditions in the country and the failure of Nigeria to respect the International Labour Organization Convention, that the minimum wage should be reviewed every 5 years. That's the international best practice, even if in some countries you find the minimum wage, national minimum wage, being reviewed maybe on the basis,
depending on issues,
on the basis of other issues, maybe within 2 years. But in Nigeria, that whole controversy, a lot of people have said, points to the fact that the Nigerian worker has been underserved, has been mistreated, even at the level of 18,000 naira per minimum wage. Many states of the Federation have not been able to pay salaries. In some states, workers are owed up to 24 months. In one particular state, in Osun State, the government of the state already paid salary arrears a few weeks to
election.
So there's the whole of that politics about the right of the worker in Nigeria. The last time the minimum wage was reviewed in Nigeria was over 10 years ago under President Obasanjo, and even then it was just 15% increase. But now we've had this drama, President Buhari setting up a tripartite committee of organized labor, government, and the private sector, and we witnessed serious drama over it, with the Governors Forum insisting that they could not pay anything more than 20,000 naira, and the federal government is insisting on 24,000 naira, and labor threatening to go on strike and all of that. But now it's good that the National Assembly sent the bill as proposed to the president, and that the president, after a brief delay, has assented his signature to it. But specifically, he has a question about implementation. In signing that bill into law, the president talked about immediate implementation. The official date that law takes effect is April 18. Now, part of the statement made by the president is that, look, the National Wages and Salaries Commission should begin to pay immediately, and all persons, all organizations covered under that law must ensure prompt implementation, with the exception, of course, of organizations or workplaces that have fewer than 25 persons or not more than 25 persons, persons working on ships that are out of jurisdiction, and other regulated payment structures that may not fall within the purview of that law. The law also says, as passed, that workers have the right to sue if their employers do not respect the provisions of that law. And it goes further to say that the Ministry of Labor should bear the cost of the litigation in cases where you have certain workers insisting on their rights. But the big issue that we need to worry about is the state governments that are also covered by this law, because many of the state governors, under the auspices of the Governors Forum, had insisted that they will not be able to pay. And we are hoping that two things will not happen. One, that these governors or these state governments will not resort to the option of mass retrenchment of workers.
Or what they will call right sizing.
Or downsizing or right sizing. We hope that will not happen, because if that happens, it will be counterproductive. It will be a violation of the spirit of the whole struggle over the national minimum wage. We are also hoping, of course, that the governors or the state governments, if we may depersonalize it, will realize that the bill, having now been signed, assented to by the president, is now a law.
It's binding on them.
If you do not respect it, then you will be breaking the law, and you could be held liable for engaging in an act of criminality.
We are in the country together.
Well, I think I will take it from where Robert stopped about implementation. We've had fanciful laws in this country, if I may say so. But the issue is, how do you make sure that that law becomes effective? It's there that you can, as an employee, trigger off a certain section of the new act now, and maybe take up action against the state government or even a private sector employee. I hope that is going to work, in the favor of the workers, because I even see the total as not sufficient. I mean, given the kind of inflation that we have, double-digit inflation that we have right now in the country, and then the fact that you have to provide everything for yourself, things that the government ordinarily should provide, infrastructure, power, education, because I mean,
even
our generation went to public schools and we had quality education. But now, if you want quality education for your children, you have to go to a private school, and we all know that costs an arm and a leg. So even the 30 naira as minimum wage may not even be sufficient to have quality life for the average Nigerian worker. So I'm more concerned about the fact that this should be implemented. It's not just be a law on paper. It has to be sufficiently effective for the Nigerian worker to have improved lifestyle.
Well, we all hope that it will bring smiles at the end of the day and not tension within the system. Let's look at illegal mining. Illegal mining has provided oxygen for banditry in some parts of the country. And it's like some people are fighting for territorial control where you have this. In fact, the governor of Osun was telling the police commissioner, don't allow the fleeing bandits from Safara to enter Osun State. No, Osun too has gold reserves. So what should government do? We should have a policy, a framework. Why should there be illegal mining when we have a government that is in control? Muyiwa.
Okay, I think the question is, the problem is more fundamental than we are looking at it. From my perspective, I believe that if we have a proper federal system, wherein the states have control of the resources within their space, and then they pay some kind of tax to the federal government, unlike what we have now, that everything comes to the federal pool, and the federal government now shares it to state and local government the way they like. Because the state government is closer to all of these facilities that we're talking about, and they should be empowered to be able to control resources within their space. So, I mean, those who are mining can then be appropriately regulated by the government that is closest to them, the state government, and it's to the benefit of the miners, it's to the benefit of the communities, and when it is properly regulated by the state government, the tension, I believe, will be lesser. I mean, it also goes to the issue of who controls the police. The federal government controls the police. You as the state governor don't have any control over police, so you cannot even deploy that arm of the force to say you want to go and control situations in your own immediate environment. So illegal mining for me is a symptom of a failed federal system. We're not running a proper federal system, and it's high time we begin to have conversation towards what do we do with the kind of system that we run now, such a way that states have become beggarly, and states are not even tapping into the resources within their space. Everybody is looking for revenue from oil, and we're talking about mining now. That's some huge resources that are lying out there that's not been tapped.
Dr. Abati, in South Africa, mining is like South Africa. It represents the country because they know the value. Should we not also attach such importance to mining?
Well, not just in South Africa, but also in Botswana, where you have deposits of diamond, and also in countries like Namibia and Zambia. But the main point about solid minerals mining, because when you refer to gold, you're talking about solid minerals, is the fact is that the licenses are issued by the Ministry of Solid Minerals Development, and there is a framework for solid minerals mining. We have had quite a number of persons in that ministry. At the point, I think Obi Ezekwesili was minister in charge, and she had tried specifically to address this issue of illegal mining, or if you want to be charitable, you talk about artisanal mining. Mining licenses are issued, exploration licenses are issued, but the problem, and then again, we also had the present governor of
Ekiti State,
Fayemi, who was also minister in that ministry, and who for the short period that he was there, also tried to address some of these challenges. The problem, of course, is this disconnect between framework and implementation, and the lack of transparency generally in the extractive industry in Nigeria. Either you are talking about solid minerals or you are talking about petroleum fossil fuel. Now, in the case of Zamfara, which has brought this issue of solid minerals again to the front burner, many Nigerians were in fact surprised that you have good fuels in Zamfara, in Kano, and that Nigeria still has things like iron ore, tin, bauxite, and that some of these mineral resources exist in commercial quantities. Now, what happens is the lack of transparency that I've talked about, the opaqueness and the conflict between the federal government controlling, all resources and the states, as Akintunde pointed out. Now, if you are given a mining license by the federal government, you will still have to go to the states. The state owns the resources.
You cannot just go there.
And in case of states like Zamfara, you will still, it's not just that the state owns the resources. The state owns the land. The resource is one thing.
Under the land.
Access to land is also important, because if you are not granted access to land,
you cannot mine.
You cannot do anything. So many of these state governments now create a lot of bottlenecks that will be very difficult. They deepen the opaqueness of the process, and people resort to illegal mining. And when they resort to illegal mining, of course, the state loses resources.
The Northern Elders, they came out during the week that President Muhammadu Buhari has not been doing enough in tackling insecurity. Should we agree with them, or is it a new phenomenon? Why are they just talking?
Well, it's not only northern elders that are concerned. Virtually everybody, including religious leaders. In fact, on the case of Zamfara, the Arewa Consultative Forum, the Board of Trustees of the Arewa Consultative Forum, held a special meeting to say that government must do more in terms of securing lives and property. And the problem is not restricted to either the Northeast, where you have a crippling low-level insurgency in Borno State and other parts of the Northeast. Now it has spread to the Northwest. In the North Central, we have had cases of S-men attacking farmers. We've had the TV Jonkon crisis. We have had issues in the Plateau Valley over indigenship and settlership. We have had cases of state governors openly weeping, on account of the tragedy that they have had to deal with. Well, the point that everybody is making, be it Northern Elders or Arewa Consultative Forum or the Ohanese Indigo or the Afenifere, is that the primary responsibility of government, as defined in Section 14 of the 1999 Constitution, is to ensure the security and welfare of the Nigerian people. And with this spectacle of killings that we have across the country, it means that government is not doing enough. And it is therefore not be surprising that in the last few weeks, President Buhari has been consistently assuring people. When he came back from his visit to the Middle East, the first thing he did was to summon a meeting of the Security Council. And we saw the acting Inspector General of Police and the Chief of Defense Staff coming forward to reassure Nigerians. Even in his sister message to Nigerians, President Buhari acknowledged the enormity of the problem, and he says that his administration is determined to deploy all measures and resources to deal with the crisis of banditry anywhere in Nigeria.
Should we take the government seriously? Because people have argued that these security chiefs have been there for quite some time, that probably they lack new ideas, and the people who are involved in all these criminal acts are getting wiser than they are. Should the government continue to retain people who seem not to be assisting it to achieve its primary objectives?
Well, ultimately, I mean, if you are security chief and things are going the way they are going, and we are not providing the sufficient security for citizens, then your role has to be called to question. And this security chief has been there for quite a number of years, and we probably would need to now see how we can rejig the team, because I mean, if the government is unable to provide security, safety of life for the citizens, then what is the role of government? Because it is not only in Zamfara, it's not only in the north, and it's not only the northern elders that are also calling. It could have been any elder, even from my own village, saying that the government should be concerned about security. Security concern is in every part of the country. People wake up the next morning and they say prayer to God, they thank God for surviving, the previous day.
Of the night.
Because at any point in time, anything will happen. We've had cases even in areas that are supposedly safe of attack. So the government should take it. I'm glad that the president is talking about it, but they should go beyond talking about it. What people want to see is the action that have been taken about it. It's not just about the rhetorics that is coming from the president.
Dr. Abati, fuel subsidy, IMF is saying remove it. It's not serving the public interest. But the government is saying, oh, you can't prescribe the same medicine that you have prescribed elsewhere for Nigeria. Nigeria is a peculiar country. What is so peculiar about us that subsidy should keep tormenting us over the years?
Well, generally the Bretton Woods institutions have not at any time supported the idea of subsidy, particularly for subsidy. Their argument has been that the subsidy that you put on fuel, you can use majorly in education, health sector and infrastructure.
In agri.
But it's not as if subsidy is bad in itself. There are other countries of the world that provide subsidy, like China, like some of the countries in the Middle East. But the net effect of it is that even when you are providing subsidy in one particular area, what is the quality of delivery in other areas? But the bigger problem we also have in Nigeria has to do with corruption. And that's one very strong point that both the World Bank and the IMF have brought up. The World Bank reported, for example, that about 761 billion is spent, 761 billion naira per annum is spent by Nigeria on fuel subsidy. And that the fuel supply, the amount of fuel that is supplied, the figures are not very clear, one. And that two, NNPC is not accountable enough in terms of the returns that it makes into the SX crude account, particularly when the benchmark, when crude is sold at a higher rate than the benchmark that is used for
the budget,
for the appropriation act. Now, that again is explained off by NNPC as what they call cost under recovery. Okay, but nobody knows the details of that cost under recovery. So there is also the challenge of transparency. The Minister of State for Petroleum says, well, Nigeria imports fuel at 180 naira. The
landing cost
is 180 naira per liter, whereas it's sold to Nigerians at 145 naira per liter, and at per annum about 1.8 billion is spent as subsidy, and with 56 million liters of fuel being consumed in Nigeria every day. Well, a lot of people query that even that figure may not be correct. But the third big issue has to do with the way fuel consumption, fuel supply is managed. We're supposed to have refineries. We have 3 refineries. Those refineries are operating below capacity. And many Nigerians are saying, look, if we can get the refineries to work, maybe we will not be so dependent on this idea of importation of fuel or the kind of deals, oil for crude for oil arrangements that NNPC engages in, and that there are too many leakages, too many wastages. That in the real sense of it, even if there is a subsidy regime, you don't have to. Nigerians don't have to suffer on account of that. So it raises very serious questions of governance. The standard excuse that government has given is that they've not been able to figure a way out, so the subsidy cannot be removed. Where the danger in removing subsidy is that you are likely, if you don't pursue the capitalistic argument, you are likely to impose more hardship on the Nigerian people in the absence of social safety nets. Now, some people have said, well, if you remove fuel subsidy, you can tax the rich, but things don't always work out that way.
Like people like you, they should tax you more.
So financial derivative says if you remove fuel subsidy, you will reduce 8% of the fiscal burden of Nigeria. But okay, you reduce fiscal burden. What advantage will eventually accrue to the ordinary man? So these are the issues since the days of the establishment of SURE-P and all those controversies we had over whether fuel subsidy is sustainable or it is not.
Go to politics. We have dealt with social issues. Now to politics. Walter Onome, the CCT, came out with a verdict that he is guilty. Not just that he is guilty, he will forfeit the monies and stuff like that, but that he's sacked. Should the CCT sack Onome, somebody who has resigned? And should Onome also go on appeal? After all, he has retired. He put in his resignation paper.
Well, I mean, he has the right to appeal.
Okay.
Because if a judgment is passed, there are still processes that you can
Exploit.
I mean, you have to exploit that up to the Supreme Court. I think that's the limit. If you want, after that, you can then appeal to God. But I mean, seriously, I think the issue is even more not about whether CCT is trying him or not. I mean, by the law, it should have been the National Judicial Council that should have dealt with that issue. I think it's not the CCT, but of course the argument has been made by the lawyers that CCT can also handle it. But substantively, I think that it's about, I forgot to declare my asset, and that's what has come out in the public space. I forgot to declare this asset. And we all know
But
that in law...
the man denied it.
No, but even in court, I mean, that argument was made about the fact that, you know, I mean, there were some things that he forgot to declare. And in law, ignorance is not taken as an excuse. You really have to deal with that situation. And he holds a position that is very, very, significant. I mean, the head of the judiciary of this country. I'm not happy about the way he was, so to say, the street language rubbish. I think the government should have acted a little bit with more dignity, given the position that he holds. But even if he had not resigned, I think it would have been better for him to have been advised, because there is no way he can come back to preside over the judiciary of the country, having been allegedly tainted. Allegedly, that's the word.
Yes.
Well, I think what has happened is, in a sense, a tragedy for the Nigerian judiciary. Although some people argue that, well, what has been proven is that nobody is above the law. But if you have a situation whereby the Chief Justice of the Federation of Nigeria, the Chairman of the National Judicial Council, the Chairman of the Federal Judicial Service Commission, these are the three positions that the Chief Justice of Nigeria combines in his office and person. And he's taken through this disgrace, humiliated, his career put through the ring. It sends very strong signal about the integrity of the judiciary.
And it's on that note we want to draw the curtain on this edition of Fourth Estate. Let me appreciate most warmly Dr. Reuben Abati for coming on this program. Thank you. We work here today. You are well appreciated.
Thank you very much.
And for you out there for spending your time with us. This is IATV. Thank you for being part of it. I am Olufunke Faduba.